In 1977, biochemist Duane Gish proposed the theory that dragons exist, and they were actually dinosaurs that can breathe fire. This idea is supported by the fact that dragons are mentioned in almost all mythologies, and every time they have such features as fiery breath and snake-like bodies. But can you really argue whether dinosaurs are ancestors of dragons? Hello everyone, my name is Alex and you are watching the DINOMACHINE channel. Today we will discuss the possibility of dinosaurs breathing fire and whether they really were the ancestors of dragons. Dragons in mythology. Scientists continue to debate the origin of the dragon image. There are various creatures in mythology such as one-legged monopod and nine-tailed foxes which are not found in other cultures. However, dragons are present in many mythologies. The first mentions of giant snakes can be found in the art and literature of ancient Mesopotamia. These legends tell of weather deities who defeated giant snakes. One such legend tells of the god Ninurta, who with the help of Iana's niece and Ishkur's brother defeats the enemy army led by a great serpent. In Egyptian mythology there is Apophis, a giant snake-like creature that lives in the underworld and is believed to be the cause of thunderstorms and earthquakes. Every day the sun god Ra descends in his solar boat to fight him. Dragons in Slavic mythology, for example, do not have a clear description of their physical appearance, that has survived to this day at least. However, it is known that they had several heads and could breathe fire, also often kidnapping princesses. The images of the serpent Zmei Gorыныch that we see in art are a product of the artist's imagination. And recently, we received an order for a Slavic-inspired dragon. One of the requirements of the customer was for the dragon to breathe fire. To achieve this effect, we inserted a fog machine into the Eternal system, and this was the result. And surely you are familiar with the image of the dragon that was depicted by medieval Europeans. This image originated from Greek mythology and was adopted by Christians, who gave it an ambiguous negative connotation. The most common stories related to dragons involve battles against them. A dragon usually looked like a winged reptile with horns. And by the way, most of the orders that we receive are for European dragons, which we can make more realistic or more cartoon-like and paint in any color. In Chinese mythology, the dragon plays a special role as a symbol of imperial power and wisdom beyond human understanding. Unlike dragons in other mythologies, Chinese dragons are not associated with evil. Healers used powders made from dragon bones to treat dizziness, wounds, and fractures. Now we know that these were actually mostly dinosaur bones. But can we say that dragons and dinosaurs were the same species? Dragon prototypes. Indeed, many fossilized dinosaur bones have been discovered in China. The first feathered dinosaur discovery was made there. It is possible that the ancient Chinese found such fossils and created stories about dragons based on them. Additionally, the theory that humans found dinosaur bones and created dragons is supported by griffins. Their appearance, similar to that of dragons, combines parts of real-world creatures. Griffins have the body of a lion and the head and wings of an eagle as described by the Greek historian Herodotus in the 6th century BC. And Greeks learned about griffins from Scythians, who had many legends about these creatures. According to these legends, griffins guarded gold and silver. And now the most interesting part. One of the places where the Scythians mined gold was the Gobi Desert. This is a real dinosaur cemetery where the bones of Psittacosaurus and Protoceratops are most often found. These creatures, like griffins, have beaks and their head crests can be mistaken for wings. And all of this seems to support the theory of the kinship between dinosaurs and dragons. But what about other cultures? Could they also come across dinosaur bones? In all mythologies, dragons have serpentine features. However, in most regions, digging up dinosaur bones requires knowledge of geology and full-scale excavations. Additionally, basic knowledge of reconstruction is needed not only to recreate the image of a dead animal, but also to classify it as a reptile. It turns out that dinosaurs may not have been the prototypes of dragons everywhere. However, why are dragons in all mythologies so similar? In his book The Instinct of Dragons, anthropologist David Jones attempted to answer this question. He proposed that humans, like monkeys, have inherited instinctive reactions to snakes, large cats, and birds of prey. For example, he cited a study showing that about 39 out of 100 people are afraid of snakes. And this fear of snakes is particularly noticeable in children, even when they grow up in areas where there are no snakes at all. All early depictions of dragons resemble snake-like creatures. Therefore, Jones concluded that stories of dragons appear in nearly all cultures because humans have an innate fear of snakes and other creatures that pose a threat to our ancestors. As you can see, the idea that dinosaurs were the ancestors of dragons is not universally true. However, some people still believe that dragons and dinosaurs are one and the same and they could breathe fire. Let's look more closely at their arguments. Did dinosaurs breathe fire? Origin of this idea can be traced back to the young Earth creationism, a belief that the Earth is only about 6,000 years old and humans and dinosaurs coexisted. Legends of dragons arose from encounters between humans and dinosaurs, and while some may find this idea amusing, it is worth noting that even among the comments on our videos there are supporters of this theory. And as evidence, they point to the similarity between dragons in mythology and dinosaurs, and the fact that dragon bones have not yet been found. However, as we have learned, ancient civilizations were able to find dinosaur bones in some areas. Duane Gish, a proponent of young Earth creationism and biochemist, proposed the idea of fire breathing in dinosaurs. He showed bombardier beetles as an example of how fire breathing might have worked, as they spray a mixture of hydrogen peroxide and hydroquinone to protect themselves. His theory became so popular that it even made it into American biology textbooks for 7th grade. Other authors picked up on this hypothesis and began looking for examples in nature for fiery breathing in dinosaurs. Philip Santer, a professor of dinosaur paleobiology, decided to put an end to this question. He dismissed the example of bombardier beetles as their protective mechanism is a hot liquid and has nothing to do with fire breathing. Santer identified several other hypotheses from the fire breathing theory and provided an answer for each of them. Henry Morris suggested in 1984 that dinosaurs could spit out self-igniting gas into the air. Santer pointed out that such gas released from a large animal's respiratory tract would immediately ignite, burning the respiratory tract and the muzzle of the animal. In order to prevent this from happening, dinosaurs would need to have fire-resistant airways. For example, they could have had a non-flammable mineral cover made of calcium phosphate. However, these types of integuments are not found in modern animals and have not been discovered in dinosaur fossils. In 1999, John Morris suggested that large herbivorous dinosaurs might have regurgitated methane they had accumulated and ignited it. However, Santer rejected this hypothesis, arguing that methane would form a cloud which could cause extensive burns to the dinosaur's head. More recently, James Gilmer proposed that dinosaurs could have had electric generation organs, similar to those of electric fish and stingrays, which they could use to produce sparks and ignite methane. In addition to the previously mentioned danger of methane to the dinosaur itself, the scientists noted that electrical discharge spreads more easily in water and biological tissues, and it's way more difficult to travel in air. Therefore, this method is not viable for creatures that live on land. Based on these findings, the scientists concluded that the production of fire by a dinosaur is either physiologically impossible or, in some cases, would harm the creature. To sum it up, dinosaurs could very well be prototypes for dragons in certain regions, but it is more likely that dragons emerged from people's fear of snakes. There is no evidence to support the idea that dinosaurs could breathe fire, and scientists would criticize any theory like that. However, dragons have definitely become a popular cultural phenomenon, appearing in TV shows, games, tattoos, and amusement parks. We can create dragons in various sizes and colors to suit your preferences.